Join our community of learners today. Let's navigate through Business Central together and ace that MB-820 exam. Subscribe now. Just open up YouTube and in the search type Business Central Musings. And here it is. This is my channel. All you have to do is click subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Business Central Musings. We continue today with another lesson for MB-820, and today's lesson is about reports. We started last week and we talked about properties, we talked about data set, data items, we talked about page requests and in general. And now we continue with also a few generic things about reports. Have you ever wondered why your report, though you published it, it's not coming up when you try to search for it? Of course, some reports can be linked to an action on a page, but if you don't have that connection, how can I trigger my report from, let's say, when I to search for it, to locate it first, and then launch it from this search mechanism, which is the tell me or the global search. And I have it here. You can see there is that magnifying loop, or Alt Q is the shortcut, and it will ask you, tell me what you want to do, and you can type in there the name of your report. But sometimes, depending on how you set it up, your report might not come up. So what we're talking about here is basically, it's a property of the report called usage category. And this usage category, it's not specific only to reports. It can be applied to pages or to queries, and the values that this usage category can have are described here. If you have a report, I usually have it in here. If you have processing on a report, you can use it. You can use either a usage category called tasks, or you can use administration, depending on what your processing only report does. Of course, sometimes as your report is using data items under data set, remember we discussed last time about the fact that the report has two main components. One is data set, basically the way you're collecting the data, what entities you're joining to collect the data, and layout. Well, for data set, it doesn't mean that if you have the sales header and sales lines under the data set, you are automatically have rights to read from that, or to insert, or to modify, or to delete. So that is controlled by AccessByPermission and also by application area. These are two properties that are available to AL developers to specify what permissions you might need. We're going to have a look next to see how some base application reports use the AccessByPermission property. Let's have a look. To emphasize the importance and the usage of AccessByPermission property, I selected here 3 reports from the base application that have AccessByPermission property included. Let's have a look. We see here the income statement report 154 has AccessByPermissions, GL account, table GL account, read access. We also see application area, basic and suite, and we see the usage category. Let's look at 813 inventory picking list. We see the AccessByPermission, table data we need access to the users using this report. The inventory picking list will need access to table location, read access. We see application area is warehouse, and we also included, or Microsoft included, usage category. The last one, movement list. Again, users using the movement list report need read access to the location table. They the Microsoft used usage category documents for this report, and application area is warehouse. Another topic that I want to touch on and basically follow the lesson from Microsoft Learn MB-820 lessons is how do we substitute a base application report. One note I want to mention here is that we don't always have to completely replace a base application report. There is always the option, I mean not always, but we had in the last years the option of extending a report, a base application report. So first attempt, if your needs are not completely different than what the base application report does, then try to extend the report with the report extension object. If the needs of your business are majorly different than what the base application report offers, then maybe you need to replace the base application report. But to keep the report connected to the same areas where it's triggered from the base application, you need to substitute the report. And the substitution of the report is done via an event in the report management code unit. Let's take an example. Let's imagine you have the requirements for the check report totally different than what the base application report does. The base application check report does. Let's say the requirements for your check report are totally different than what the base application reports are doing. Keep in mind, for checks at least, there are more than one report. So you need to look at how your check needs to look like, and you need to look at the reports that are existing in the system. If you can leverage one of them, the next question is, should I create a report extension? Can I create a report extension for the one I found the closest to my needs? Well, maybe yes, maybe no. If your answer is that I cannot use a report extension, and the reasons for not being able to use a report extension are many, but let's say you can't, what is the next option for you? The next option is you have two options. You either create a report, a brand new report, start from scratch and develop your report, or copy the report from the base application, make the adjustments if they are minor, make the adjustments, and of course, in both cases, if we want to trigger this new report from the same places we triggered the base application report that we just replaced, then you use the substitute report feature or event subscriber. Let's have a look at the code where that happens. I have here a code unit, and the first event subscriber is just for this reason, to substitute existing reports. And we can see that the report is in the event is in the report management code unit, and the event is called on after substitute report. What we do here, we receive report ID as a parameter, and report ID is the original report. So if you're substituting check report, which is 10,000, let's just find out. $10,401, $10,411, $10,412, or maybe $10,413. So in this case, when we hit this event, report ID is going to be one of those 400, 411, 12, 13. And the new report ID is the report that I'm substituting it with. So maybe I created a check report for that substitutes 10,411. Then report ID is going to be 10,411, and the new report ID is going to be 50,100. So report ID is the old report, the base report. The new report ID is the report I wrote. In this example, what I'm trying to do is I want to replace the vendor listing with a new report, substitute vendor list. And let's have a look here. All we do here is displaying a message and then breaking out. So not much, because we don't want to just write another report, but we want to emphasize how the substitution of the report works. Also notice that the usage category is none, so this report is not triggerable from anywhere in the system. Going back, we also have customer list, another report, and we're going to trigger customer. When customer list is triggered, we are going to replace it with substitute cust list. In this report, it does something similar. It will display a message, but we won't break out. We will generate an Excel sheet. Also, usage category is none, which means this report is not available from anywhere in the system. So let's have a look at how that looks like in Business Central. So we have here in the note, one note, how the event looks like, the one that we need to use to substitute a report. But also we have a list of all the events that can be used as part of the report management code unit. And we saw our event here on after substitute report, but we also have on after document download. And I have an example here on the left hand side on how we can use the on after document download. So after object ID is the report that's running, in this case order detail, customer order detail. But once the order detail is downloaded, we are launching another report, substituted vendor list. So let's see how that works.
Let's just check what our code does. So first, let's start with vendor listing. We know it should be replaced by the substituted vendor list. So if we go to reports, vendor listing, we see immediately that we have replaced it with a substitute vendor list, and we can download it, and we're done. And then let's go to, actually we can trigger the report customer list from the global search, and again we see it already from the beginning substituted, and we can run the report and download the Excel file. And the last thing is we subscribe to on after document download. So after we download the document that's produced by the customer order detail, we're running substitute vendor list. So let's run customer order detail. So this is the report customer order detail. This is going to run. Let's download the PDF. And immediately as we download the file, we see that a new report is running. And we can finish the execution of that report.
This is it for today. What I covered today was how we can make the reports appear on the Tell Me More or global search, and how we can substitute reports or continue the processing of a report with maybe another report, running another report, or anything you want to do after the file is downloaded. And we looked at we did the substitution of the report, and we did continuation of a report run with events from report management code unit. Thank you. I hope it helps. If you liked it, please subscribe, like it. It does help getting this information out there to more people. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.